designed for keeping secrets in my hair or any space you can find. Glad to see that I could help make your life a bit easier. But have you ever thought of how I felt? You need to think about your behavior.
It's after 10 o'clock on a Thursday, boys and girls. It's going to get hot and muggy in the state of Michigan and then some, especially in the metropolitan Detroit area. And yes, you are listening to Butch On Sports. Simply Butch is here. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Yes, indeed, here. A smorgasbord of stuff to give you tonight here in the sports arena. Let's have at it, boys and girls, and get to a scoop or something. We're going to start off a little different today. Normally I start off with the locals, but we'll do that for last here. Here. I got to get this stuff on out of the way. JAMEIS Winston of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you know of this gentleman here? He is the quarterback for the particular team. And a high-priced one at that here. The NFL Special Counsel for Conduct, TODD JONES. He is the guy in charge of that. He suspended JAMEIS Winston without pay for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' first 3 games of the season for violation of the NFL's personal conduct policy. Yes, in November 2017, the NFL learned about an incident that Winston was in sharing a ride with a driver. It took place in March of 2017 in Scottsdale, Arizona, where he was in an incident that was immediately reported by the driver of the employee and which resulted in Winston's removal from the ride-sharing platform, which also publicly was reported last November. The league promptly initiated a comprehensive investigation. Oh, yeah. Including interviews with several persons, and including the driver, Winston, and others, relevant information as well. The league examined all this evidence and other evidence, including telephone records, business records, data, and electronic devices and other communication. And based on this communication and investigation, the NFL found Winston had violated personal conduct policy, which allowed for disciplinary measures to be imposed on him whenever a criminal charge is not presented. Excuse me. Charges were dropped in the particular case, but in the letter advising Winston of suspension, Jones fully stated and considered the record, including the meeting with Winston and his representative, and writing a submission by his attorney that, yes, he did all these fine, lovely things that he was accused of. We'll get to that in a moment. As a result, the investigation had concluded, Winston violated personal conduct policy by touching the driver in an inappropriate and sexual manner without her consent. Yes, the lady driver was a woman, and that disciplinary action was necessary and appropriate. In the process of the discipline, Winston also is required to take a clinical evaluation and full cooperation recommended program of therapeutic intervention. That means he's going to have to go to the doctor and get some help. I'll break it down for you, boys and girls. Failure to obtain evaluation or the cooperation of treatment will result in full disciplinary action on Mr. Winston there. In addition, the NFL, further conduct violation of personal conduct will result in more substantial disciplinary, including a potential ban for the NFL. So Winston has advised the league office that he accept his disciplinary punishment, and therefore it'll take effect when the final rosters are reduced. That's on September the 1st. and he'll be eligible to return on September the 25th, following the Buccaneers game after the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is game number 3 of the regular season. Winston may participate in all of his club's preseason activity, including games, but after that, he's on ice for the rest of the season. Commissioner Goodell's office was still busy, boys and girls. Yes, it was. It was still busy. Goodell was announced some finding in the Carolina Panthers workplace investigation. Allegedly, the Panthers owner, Jerry Richardson, substantiated that Richardson was fined $2.75 million. Let me put it that way here. To support organizations addressing in race and gender-based issues and funding worldwide workplace training. The Commissioner Goodell, he announced that today in conclusion of investigation conducted by the U.S. Attorney and the SEC Chairman, Mary Jo White, and allegations of the workplace misconduct by the Carolina Panthers owner, Jerry Richardson. Yes, he's an owner, boys and girls, of the Carolina Panthers. The commissioner appointed White to serve as an independent investigator following the public disclosure on December of 2017. During the holiday season, yes, Thanksgiving and Christmas are all wrapped up in one, with both of those allegations, the one I read before you and the one I'm reading now, this one on Mr. Richardson. Following the disclosure, Mr. Richardson announced his intention to sell the Carolina Panthers, remove himself from day-to-day operations of the club in favor of the Panthers' chief operation officer, Tina Becker. Last month, the NFL owners approved the sale of the Panthers to David Tempe, which right now, yes, Jerry Richardson's in the win. You know, the sale was expected to close in the next 2 weeks, of course. However, Richardson was levied before that deal is final. He'll be levied $2.75 million. A lot of money for a big mouth and disrespect, which the NFL feels at this point in time is very much so warranted. All these recommendations, and it was like, you know, the investigation and interviews included with club executives and some current former employees, analysis of documents or electronic records and other sorts of information that pointed the finger at Jerry Richardson, racial and insensitive comments toward people, and that's including women as well, and minorities. Inappropriate for the workplace. Of course, workplace policies, procedures, training, and implications, appropriate changes need to be met with the Carolina Panthers once Mr. David Tipton is the owner of this particular club that he is now seeking to acquire. Again, about a couple of weeks, that should be final. And the NFL will scrutinize Mr. Tipton to make sure that his place is clean as a whistle. The first reviews identify each of the allegations to be publicly reported, as well as similar matters have not been subject to public discussion. Second, while the investigation was limited to the matter that had been publicized and reported, it did not seek to confirm or reject the details of the specific allegations, which regarding Mr. Richardson, I did substantiate that the claims that had been made and no identification information would be either discredited or the claims made or that would undermine the validity of the employee who had made those claims. Third, an improper conduct for was limited to Mr. Richardson only. Other employees of the Panthers alleged that they engaged in such conduct from Mr. Richardson, of those particulars I have mentioned, racially and insensitive, and evidence similarly conducted by other employees on the club as well there. There's a fourth charge in here confirming the investigation of the Panthers that the ownership did not report claims or agree to resolve those particular claims to the league office. Neither to the league office nor the club limited partners were aware of these matters until it became public in December of 2017. So with all of that saying there, all those rules busted there by Mr. Richardson himself, that's why the NFL and the commissioner, with his blessings, blessed Mr. Richardson with a fine of $2.75 million, most of which will be used to support organizations dedicated to addressing issues or race and gender-based issues outside the workplace. Initial commitments has been made to the following organizations: Beauty for Ashes Incorporated, Black Women's Blueprint, another Women of Colors Incorporated. Those for three are starters, and I'm quite sure there are some more that will be getting on that bandwagon to give them funding for the particular sensitivity matter of public and workplace environment issues concerning race and discrimination, which those are organizations that people can go to, in addition to going to the actual office of the administration of the club, which apparently was not accepted or was reported by someone, and they kept their mouth closed. I'll interpret that for you. So, with all that saying, the NFL was pretty busy today kind of cleaning up their house. Let's move on to some football that doesn't concern the tackling in a way of running with some short stuff on. Yes. Can we talk about, let's talk about the World Cup. And instead of talking about the World Cup, hey, let's do it with it this way here. Let's deal with the rankings right now, or we could deal with the rankings. We could deal with all the wins and losses today here. But let's do it this way here. Let's deal with the matches that's going to be upcoming. And just to tell you who's in those knockout rounds that's going to be taking place starting Saturday, June 30th. France versus Argentina, 7 a.m. on the Pacific Coast, 10 a.m. the Eastern Coast. Now, we'll make it a little easier for you. We'll give you the East Coast times here. Uruguay and Portugal, that's at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Sunday, July the 1st, Spain and Russia, 10 o'clock in the morning. Croatia and Denmark, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's on Sunday. How about on Monday, boys and girls? Brazil and Mexico. That ought to be a heart stopper for you at 10 a.m. on Monday. Later on that afternoon, Belgium versus Japan, 2 p.m. On Tuesday, July the 3rd, yes, busy day, Sweden versus Switzerland. That's going to be a cream puff kind of game here, but I think it's going to be pretty cool. 10 a.m. Colombia and England. That will be a smoker, if you get my drift, which is the last of those particular games of those 16 teams I just mentioned. From there, we go to the quarterfinals, as 8 teams will be left. Then we'll go to the semis, and then it'll be to a little relief of some relievable football news that you can't get enough of. I watched a lot of it today here, and with the England game here against their opponents, neither Kane or I forgot the guy's name here. I don't want to mispronounce it, but he's an important guy. Let's say both teams didn't play their best men or best people. It was a 1-0 final score. The other team won. And who can I say that won that there? Was it Uruguay? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it got to be Uruguay, yeah. I could check it later. I don't want to embarrass myself. Oh, it might have been Belgium. I don't know. I could check. Okay, well, I'm not here. Let's move on. That depressing news in football really got to me here. How about the NBA deadline here? Some of you think that maybe on July the 1st is the important day. No, boys and girls, it's not. We got approximately one more day and 2 hours before the NBA players can announce their intention to go free agency. At that point in time, teams, after 3 days more rotation, can start talking to these people and chit-chatter and all this other good stuff here. After that, boys and girls, you got a little 7-day lead of, and from that point on, that's when they can start signing them. It's all a process. But look at some of the processes. The biggest news today was LeBron James. Where would he go? Who cares? I would like to see him stay with Cleveland, that's personally. I would like to see that, they move up Tyrone Lue to a general manager and let LeBron James be the coach because he acts that way anyway. And he can pick and choose and have some influence on who comes on the team and all the other good stuff. He's doing it anyway, in a sly little way. Yes, 33 years old. Maybe it's about time. Find out what his worth is in running a team. And also playing, because he's still able. However, the biggest rumor is Kawhi Leonard giving James a pitch or what it may be. Hey, if I go to L.A., would you come there too? Those are sources made by Yahoo Sports. So I didn't say it. Yahoo Sports is putting this information out here. They say Leonard pitched to James on his incredible defensive ability and how it would be alleviate the pressure on James, sources said. They said this conversation led on June 15. Yahoo Sports reported that Leonard, 26 years old, wanted to be traded from the San Antonio Spurs, and that's for fact. Spurs now talking to all kind of teams, including the Lakers. Boston Celtics was another team that was pitched out there. But Kawhi Leonard said, hey, if I had a situation to go to, I would really rather go to L.A. So if that's happening, it has to be only a trade. That's the deal. And San Antonio will have to get a whole heck of a lot out of this bad boy here, which is probably going to involve 3 teams or maybe more in order to make San Antonio very happy. Of course, as you know, LeBron James will probably opt out, or it was told that he is going to opt out as of tomorrow night. So after 11:59 on the 29th, which 12 o'clock makes it the 30th, he now can declare himself a free agent and can express and talk to any team he wants. Undercover. Oh, yeah. Lakers is one of those teams that has been sorted out by the media and friends that this is where he's going to go. But here's a twist in there. Kevin Durant has opted out of his contract with the Golden State Warriors. Stephen A. Smith reported that James texted Durant about joining him in L.A. What a deal. I don't know what's jumping out here, man, but, sooner or later, a lot of this stuff is going to get sorted out. And I wonder who's going to be the best of it all. But it looks like in the further days ahead, we're going to have excitement in the NBA. Period. Without exception. And won't you enjoy that, boys and girls? I tell you. Moving on here, the Detroit Tigers, which I didn't normally mention first and foremost with the local, but I'll just mention them now after 20 minutes of the show. First of all, the Chris Bosio situation. I wasn't on the air yesterday when all this goodies happened, but I've always mentioned about the pitching staff here and how capable it really is here. And of course, Chris Bosio, according to the Detroit Tigers, as of yesterday, a couple of days, he was the best thing since the donut here. But he's had problems before in using certain language or club language where other people get the wrong interpretation, and it's not been the first time he's been in trouble. Being insensitive with the wrong people around him. Now, this is the deal, as per WXYZ, who first reported this particular situation that I read today, and also checked up on him, via some telephone calls and stuff here. Because I didn't believe it myself. Around the Tiger organization has, stayed with the marks tight-lipped about it, of course. But Bosio did say that these particular things, the claims that they were just misinterpreted. Bosio has been commented were racially charged, and that's what one of the insensitivities that was reported by the Detroit Tigers yesterday was due to. Now, it was due to Daniel Stumps. Daniel Stumps and Bosio calls the white pitcher, Daniel Stumps is white, Spider Monkey, which was the coach's nickname for the player from the article. And this one included here by WXYZ. An African American who works in the clubhouse overheard this. And according to Bosio, he was misinterpreted. Black man thought you was talking about him. Someone in our coaching room asked me Monday afternoon about Stumps, Bosio said. And I said, oh, you mean Spider Monkey? That is his nickname. He's a skinny little white kid who makes all of these funny faces when he works out. Can't get the correlation, but that's what Chris Bosio said. The kid thought we were talking about him. He got upset. He assumed that we were talking about him. I said, no. We're talking about Stumps. And he said, in quote, and that it was it. I swear on my mom and dad's grave, there's nothing else to it. Oh my. I guess Bosio has filed a complaint maybe being reinstated or the Tigers giving him the money that he feels he deserves for the rest of the season of this particular. So we're going to hear more news on this, I'm quite sure, pretty soon. Let's the Detroit Tigers and Chris Bosio get together in confidence, because officially he's been fired from the team, and give him a settlement of this dollar amount for maybe this year, or in certain cases, the lawyers might want to stick him up because he has a 2-year contract with the club and get next year's salary as well. How about that, boys and girls? Next time I'm going to get an applaud sign or something. In the meanwhile, Detroit Tigers today had a game this afternoon. And it wasn't, some of the interpretation of the clubs here really it cracks me up here. Michael Fulmer pitched today. He's now 3-7. He gave up 4 runs and 9 hits while he became the first Tiger starter to pitch 8 innings since May the 20th. 8 innings and gave up 4 runs. Tigers didn't get nothing but 2. Final score, Tigers lose to the Athletics and get swept at home. Final score is 4-2. Oh, well. But it was brazen. He went 8 innings. Oh, boy. And the club didn't score any other runs. Didn't help them. Here's the deal here. Like I said, and I say it again, I'll say it before, and I mean this really here, in all sincerity here. I think the pitchers got to kind of stuff it up. Some of the pitchers we have, Boyd, Hardy, and Hardy's been pitching pretty well until lately here. He's part of the streak of losing. And I'm not saying the Detroit Tigers pitchers are bad and whatever it may be. I think they have a lot of potential. I think the babying comes along when you handcuff someone on a pitch count here. And they need a pitching coach that strives that, you know what, the pride of pitching the game is going the whole game. On the other hand, okay, if you can't, okay, the bullpen has to take responsibility of coming in there and doing their job and stop looking like a bunch of slop jars. And being sloppy. I threw the wrong pitch. I had good stuff. Oh, well, they thought you did too. That's why they knocked the crap out of it out the ballpark. And then in the holes and every place else to win a game. Some have been mistaken fielding, but very few. I think one of the more improving factors of the Detroit Tigers is that their defense has stepped it up a notch from years past. Yeah, I said it. But the pitching, I think is personally, they need to, I think the catchers need to be kind of toned in on what they're calling. And I can't say trust is an issue and you got to work it out, but you know what? It's got to be a better way. And some of this has to do with you being mindful that you got to do a better job of preparing yourself to pitch and then get those innings on in there. Let's commend them. 8 innings, fine, 4 runs, if you can stand it. Maybe, and I'm quite sure Garnhide would say, well, he gave the bullpen a break. Because they have looked sloppy. But, you put 12 pitchers on a team, and they should know before the jig is up, everybody's accountable. So why would we care how many times they pitch? Once you got pitchers to go, you pitch one pitch. I don't know. Let's move on here, boys and girls. Finally here, the Red Wings were kind of be looking at free agency too. And trades, because again, the roster's going to have to be made up. And it's no secret that the Red Wings are getting younger and not older. And there's one thing that, and I can't say goaltending is a problem with the Red Wings, but they have marketable goaltenders on their staff. I think their goaltending is pretty cool, but they don't get no support, and that's from defense. Goaltenders can only do so much. You got to have support. And the Red Wings, that's been a problem with the Red Wings now going on 4 years, 4 seasons. Okay, at least, of their defense, not supporting their goaltenders. I don't care who you give up or who you claim to give up, or you might as well come to terms and do we want to keep the experience there, or do we want to cut payroll down to a no, not one, and get younger, and let the young kids get on in there and trade somebody and think you're going to get somebody back in return. I guess that's where the Red Wings are right now, and they're going to figure it out. I'm not going to say Joe Blow should go, what it may be. There's some remarkable people on that team. But again, one of the things that came in there was Robin Lerner. He is the Buffalo Sabres second string goaltender. And he's on the list to be a free agent upcoming here. He's only 26 years old. Many feel that he's a doggone good goaltender if he's on the righteous team. Of course, again, if your defense is not supporting your goaltender in a certain way, shape, form, or fashion, it's not going to work out. Just not. Period. End of story. I don't know what to say, but there it is. Piston news, I haven't heard any, I guess they're on the Pistons West tour here that is still going on in Los Angeles here. And summer's coming. summer's coming, and that means summer training camp for the rookies and 1 and 2 and 3 year players. I understand that Henry Ellis is going to take part in the summer league program for the Pistons. And from what I'm hearing right now, and I've been saying it all along, what's taking them so long to play this guy? Because he's pretty doggone good. But apparently, they're going to do that. They're going to put the guy to the fire. We'll probably have more about the Pistons. In the meanwhile, I'm done here on this podcast here. Butch On Sports is a presentation of Oh My Darling Productions. You can check me out on Facebook. Go to Butch On Sports on Facebook. Listen to the podcast there. You can also go to podcast Podomatic, SIMPLYBUTCHTOO.podomatic.com. So on that site there, that's a website. And also, you can go to the game show, Scott Nason Incorporated, and hear some of the good stuff on that particular website there at pop.popbean.com. Of course, I do the show called The Game on Mondays, 6:45 until, And check out all their shows too, Scott Nason on the fine shows on that website. Dave McKay Company doing a couple shows that week, Wednesday and Thursday. Boston Pizza, Sports Center Lounge, a bar, a pub. Hey, check it out. Hey, again, Butch On Sports is a presentation of Oh My Darling Productions. Y'all have a good day. Check you out on Saturday.